Good afternoon from Hopalong Hollow. This is Jerry, and today I'm in a completely different garden. I'm in Kizzys' garden. This is a country cottage garden that I have shown you many times because I've had to do a lot of work in here. In fact, 2 years ago I completely renovated this garden. But no garden is ever finished, and you have to keep up on things. So I have been working in here for about 3 days. Before I show you what I've done in here, I would like to take you back about 4 weeks ago and tell you a chicken tale. You may remember when I had to come up here on the porch a few weeks ago and build a new nesting box because my chickens were not using the one in the barn. So I did, and everything was really successful until I decided, until somebody decided to become a broody hen, and that is Ruby. Ruby decided to get broody, and this is not good. This is not good at all for someone who doesn't want more chickens. What is a broody hen, for those of you who don't know, is a hen who just insists upon becoming a mother. She may not even be sitting on any eggs. In fact, she's not sitting on any eggs. She's just sitting in her nesting box and won't leave. There are ways that you can cure a broody hen, supposedly, but I tried all of them and none of them worked. One of them is taking her out of the nest every day, walking her far away from the nest and just letting her run around. You have to do that about 3 or 4 times a day, consistently, for about a week. But she keeps running back to the nest, and that's what she's been doing. Haven't you, Ruby? Another thing was to put ice underneath her because her body temperature will go down and the hormones that are producing this need to become a mother are decreased. That didn't work either. I also dipped her in the creek. They said put her in some cold water for a little while and maybe she'll stop. Well, she just won't. So the only other option is just let her sit it out for 21 days. She's already been in here close to 21 days sitting here, not laying any eggs, just sitting on nothing, thinking she's going to have a baby magically. But the problem is now nobody else will come into the nest and lay their eggs. So once again, I am a woman with chickens, but no eggs. It wasn't bad enough to have one broody hen. I haven't got one broody hen. I've got 2 broody hens. Here's another one. This is a little tink. She was just hatched last year. So I found her on this dry sink. This is my potting sink, sitting in a basket, and she was sitting on about 20 eggs. And I took all of them away from her except for 3. So I'm going to let her go ahead and sit on her eggs because I know for a fact she'll never stop doing this. Once you get a broody hen, I just don't know how you break them of it. And for me, if I wanted chickens, it would be great. But I don't want any more chickens. I've got enough. But she is just a tiny little thing. Look at her. Look at her haircut. Isn't it funny? And boy, oh boy, is she ferocious if I get too close. When I took those eggs away from her, oh, she just had a fit. She really attacked me. But you could see how mean she's looking. Look at her. Oh, she has wickedness in her eyes. Leave me alone. So anyway, she's also broody hen number 2. Did I mention broody hen number 3? This is Twyla. She had a baby chick 3 weeks ago. She was sitting on 20 eggs in the barn. I discovered her, took away all her eggs but 2, and this little baby chick female hatched 3 weeks ago. So there's 3 broody hens for you. 3 broody hens all in 1 month. Oh, what am I going to do? This is Tink, and she was a broody chick as well last year. Anyway, she made a nest here in the potting sink on the front porch. She chose a pretty good location, actually. Very protective. And I let her keep 1 egg. And there's the result right there. It's too early to say whether this is going to be a female or a male, but I have a sneaky suspicion. You can always tell by their tail. Once they develop their tail, if they have that cute little fan like that, perfect little fan, then it's a baby girl. I think, though, this is a little rooster. I sure hope not. I'll know in about a week. I'll know. But aren't they cute? I always say I don't want any more chickens, but sometimes I just can't resist letting them hatch one, because they just love those. Some of these hens just want to be a mommy so badly. And she's a very sweet little girl too. Look at her. Hi, funny face. Hi, funny face. After the other broody hen hatched her little baby, Tink hatched a baby, she still had an egg, and I gave it to Ruby out of pity. I gave that egg to her. She sat on that for a week and nothing happened. It was just no good. It was nothing but yolk. So she still wouldn't get up off the nest. So we finally relented, went down. James bought her 3 baby chicks from rural Kansas. Here's what we did. James went down to the farm store. He asked for the assistant to pick out the smallest baby chicks that she had. And we got 2 little black ones and a little blondie. And when he came home, it was still dark. It was evening. So I just slipped those little babies underneath her belly. And she took to them right away, thinking they were hers, thinking that she hatched them. Well, here's Tink. She managed to get her baby out of the sink. I don't know how she did it, because I wasn't around when it happened. It happened early in the morning, I guess. And here they are in this garden I'm working on. And unfortunately, that is a little boy. I can tell by his tail. But he's adorable. And I think I'll name him Wilberforce. Wilberforce or Washington, I'm not sure. Okay, so you see mother hen's tail, how it fans up in a straight vertical fan. And just like babies is doing the very same thing. And that little fan tail was there when she was only a couple days old. The other one has nothing like that. He's going to start getting little sprigs of feathers, and he's going to develop a rooster tail eventually. So in a nutshell, broody hen Twyla had a baby girl, and we named her Tibby. Tink is Twyla's daughter, and she had a baby boy in the sink. Wilberforce is his name, and he would be Twyla's grandson and Tibby's nephew. Ruby adopted 3 chicks of unknown origins, but she thinks she hatched them. So Ruby's family is not even remotely related to Twyla's family. Oh my! What a complicated web we have weaved here in Hopalong Hollow. Let's get back into the garden. You should stay right there. You're gorgeous. Okay. Well, I think that's enough chicken talk for the day. Let's get back into the garden. A garden is certainly always a work in progress. I mean, it can take years to establish a garden, as most of you already know if you're gardeners. This one has been under so many different conditions, and so many different plants have gone in and out of this garden. It's unbelievable. Unless you have really deep pockets and you can purchase like 100 5-gallon perennials at once and make an instant garden, your life as a gardener will be like mine. And it's just a constant lesson, a constant job, and it's an enjoyable job, but so much has to go into a garden to get it really established. This garden is the shady side, and I have put in some hostas. I'm not crazy about hostas. In fact, it's one of my least favorite plants, but it is something that really does thrive in this garden. I had a couple that I was able to split apart from the front yard and get myself some free plants. And then I took the little seedlings from the Tasha Tudor trays. These are the little lupins. They're not looking great right now, but they are growing. They're pretty wilty because I just put them in. So we probably put about 15 lupins in here, and some delphiniums that I raised from seed. And then we've got astilbes and several other things in here. But what was in here originally, when I started 3 days ago, was a field full of my nemesis, lemon balm. And as you can see over there, there's still a whole lot of lemon balm growing under that tree. I'm going to cut that down to a couple inches so it doesn't seed itself everywhere, and just keep that one patch. One of the main things I had to do in here was restore, I should say, redo my lattice. When I came in here 2 years ago, I completely redid the lattice, but I did it in the wrong way. I used a staple gun to put the lattice together, and I actually repurposed old lattice as well. Well, we got a big windstorm here last year, and it just completely took out all my lattice. So I started all over again with brand new lattice. I used wood screws instead of wood staples, and now it is pretty sturdy. So I'm hoping that this is going to last for the next 25 years or so, and I will not have to be replacing that again. Other than that, we've just got some rows of Sharon and sedum and dianthus and a little bit of things that I planted here and there from other gardens. I grabbed this Veronica from another garden. Of course, we've got lots and lots of rutabaga. I put my little daylily seedlings in here. I've got some blue sea holly seedlings. I sowed zinnia seed in here, which is coming up. In the back, I have perennial sunflowers that are only about a foot tall right now because I chopped them way down. I stole those from another garden. Anise hyssop planted in my seed trays. So right now this looks pretty sparse, but it will be thicker and thicker and thicker as the season goes on, and it will begin to look, hopefully, more like this side. I've had to clear a lot of this side out. I'm still working on these patches that are full of grasses and weeds. I've got to lay some rock here, which I've done over here already. It's a constant refurbishing and replanting in your garden. It's just what you do, and makes it pretty interesting all the time. Here's another little empty space I can use. I'm going to put in these empty spaces just some beautiful annual cutting flowers, zinnias, cosmos, some calendula. I moved several roses up against my shiny new lattice. Look at that. I'm pretty proud of that fence. Looking really good. We've got phlox in here, and we've got anise hyssop and coneflowers, of course, and sedum and irises all spread throughout. This is a very thick and lush garden. So lush, in fact, with the rutabaga that I really want to thin out some of these sections. Got some grasses growing in here. I want to thin out some of these sections and move some of this rutabaga to another garden. The uses for fallen branches and twigs. Do you remember the fallen tree that we had in the yard? Believe it or not, James cut that up with his chainsaw in 2 hours. And the next day we took it and carried all of it and put it over here behind the potting shed and to let the leaves dry out so I can use those as mulch. So you can use the leaves as mulch, which is it makes a great mulch. But you can also take these loose, very, very twiggy pieces and stick them in the ground to hold up floppy plants like these alliums, which were just laying over on the ground, and now they look very natural, just nestled in the arms of the little twigs and twiglets here. I also poked some in the ground around these anise plants, these brand new little baby plants that I put in along the fence to keep the chickens away. I just surrounded the plants with twigs, stuck them in the ground. That will keep them from cultivating all around these twigs. And since I now have, 5 new baby chickens, they're going to be in here, believe me. They've been in here quite a bit already. They're going to be in here digging around, looking for things to eat. The sea holly that I grew from seed, these are the seedlings that were growing in the greenhouse. And I am so glad that I purchased these little wire baskets from the dollar store about a couple months ago and got as many as I could, because the chickens have already been in here cultivating all around them. But you put these down with some landscape staples and they should stay in the ground pretty well. Most of you don't have to worry about things like this, but when you're stuck with chickens, as I am, I probably will always be stuck with chickens. I know, some of you probably really, really love your chickens, and I love mine too, but boy, do they give me a pain, I'm telling you. So, I have filled up this wheelbarrow already 5 times with grasses and weeds and lemon balm from this garden. But it's starting to take on a very nice new look, and I'm so pleased with the lattice that I replaced. This is the old lattice that came off in the windstorm. I guess you can see why, but it's still good for something. I'm sure that it could hold climbing peas or vines or beans or tomatoes. You may remember our little ducklings a couple weeks ago, all grown up. They grow so fast. Turns out there's 1 female and 2 males, and they're very, very, very attractive ducks. There's the little female. The way you can tell is she's much smaller than the other 2, and the boys have a curl in their back feather. That's an indication of a boy. I can't tell from their voices yet because they're still making a tiny, tiny duckling sound. Isadora gave up on her eggs, and so she will not be having goslings after all. So we will be back to this garden in just a few weeks when we've got more things in bloom. Actually, not much is in bloom at the moment. Some annual seeds sown in here, some extra bedding plants put in from the greenhouse, and it'll look a little more lively then, with a lot more color. In the meantime, from Hopalong Hollow, this is Jerry, signing off with the chicks. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.